Hello friends, I'm Amanda with AB Adventures and welcome to our newest costume video. We've done a few of these in the past, so if you haven't seen them, be sure to go check them out and subscribe to see more in the future. But today we are digging into the Hades costume. And the character from this Hercules film is known for having a sarcastic sense of humor and a somewhat explosive personality. So for the costume, there are some super fun and wacky ones here, and I cannot wait to share them with you because we are definitely going to have a laugh together. So get comfy and enjoy. As we usually do for these videos, we are starting by looking at the original costume within the film, and one of the key things to note is the flames for hair and the smoke billowing around the bottom of his robes. Smoke and flames. And first of all, that is very hard to make into a believable costume that an actual human can wear. But next, notice that all the fabric is black or gray, and he's got this lighter gray tunic underneath with a black robe draped over it and held together with a silver skeleton pin. Quite possibly the most difficult part to get this right, though, is his face. I'll just say that and we can get started. The Hercules film was released way back in 1997, and with the release of that film, Disney opened a parade in Hollywood studios and another in Disneyland. And this first costume is still one of the most used costumes today. To achieve the flames for hair, they used a frizzy type of hair that would stand straight up and be two-toned blue as mock fire. To me, though, it just tends to look really floppy and messy when it isn't tamed. That's just me. But you've got these two-tone colors of gray for the tunic and the robe, and lastly, the cast member wearing the costume is completely covered from head to toe. Next, we move over to a pretty rare Disney on Ice show. There isn't much high-quality video of this that I could find, but I found it interesting that they wanted to incorporate some of the fiery aspects into the costume. So if you look really closely, you can see some red and orange fabric along the sides, and you'll also notice that he isn't wearing a tunic, but pants instead for this role. And you can tell, too, that the skater had prosthetics to elongate his face rather than wearing a full mask. The whole costume itself is pretty jagged, too, which I find really interesting for Hades. Now, back in 2003, the Disney Cruise Line produced a musical called the Hercules Musical. You know, with an E in it, just to be clever. Anyway, the show really played on the humor of the film and kept a pretty upbeat pace throughout its entirety. And Hades himself had a really caricatured and humorous take throughout his moments in the show, and that definitely extended to his costume, specifically the face. For the most part, actually, the costume is great. I love the colors, the sparkling in the robe, the accuracy of the color tones, but that big afro of hair and the intense prosthetics, I mean... the whole top half of his face is so intense, and then it just kind of drops off at the bottom. Like, where did his chin go? It's just not right. It's not right. So, yeah, the character was funny in this, but the costume was the wrong kind of funny. But we move on. I'm not quite sure that what we're moving on to is much better, though. We jump over to the Villians Unleashed show in Walt Disney World in 2014 with quite possibly the most terrifying costume of them all. There's something not quite right about his mouth, but the eyes, they look so empty and unseeing, which really freaks me out. And the one thing that I do find interesting is that this is the more colorful of the costumes. You can see that the robe glistens a bit, and underneath it has a really nice purple. They've added some color to the detailing around the collar and the shoulders that really adds a nice touch. But that's only if you get past the shock of that face. Moving on to quickly look at the It's Good to Be Bad pre-show in the same year, it looks like they've pulled out their old reliable costume for this parade as well. Still the very frizzy, untamed hair too. But it's fine. I'm fine. I keep wanting to say that the next one that I'm going to show you is the craziest, but I don't know which one is the craziest anymore. So let's just take a look at this one and you decide. One of the things that I do appreciate is definitely the addition of the staff that he has, but also the floor-length costumes. Some of the ones that we've seen before only went to the ankle, and I think this represents the original character best. But you can also see some of the details along the bottom that represents flames. Since it would be tough to create a costume that had the rolling smoke of the film's version, this is a really nice touch to the costume here. Okay, but now we can get to the face again. The oh so troublesome face for this character. I'll just let this sit with you for a second. I mean, really. I understand how hard this is, and it shows because everyone has a very different way of dealing with the prosthetics and the hair. But these, I just don't even know what they are. The mock flames that almost look like foam worms, they just don't say fire to me. They did get the hook nose right, but that strap-on wig and the tiny chin, yeah. I'm glad that this one hasn't resurfaced over the years that I can tell. Alright, let's jump forward a few years to 2018, where Walt Disney World did a rare characters meet and greet, and here you see the Hercules characters available for photos, and Hades is seen in what I'm considering is his most popular costume. One other thing to notice about this robe that you can see well in this is the wavy design going vertically along the robe. It's a detail unique to this costume, and the thing that I love about this one though is that they have finally done something about his hair. I can't tell if they replaced it or not, probably not, but it's definitely not the floofy mess that it was before on the opening day parade, and at least now it looks more controlled and actually resembles Flames a bit more. So this video makes me think that they simply brushed and trained the hair before the last event, since it appears to be all over the place again. Like, I just want to step in and fix it. Can I just really quick just go in there and fix it? But like I said, this is one of the most popular and my favorite iterations of the character, since they don't have to deal with all the problematic facial prosthetics. And that brings us up to today, slightly shorter than some of our other costume studies, but in my opinion, much more humorous. And you get to see a good look at how creative these people are, and they have to be in forming this character's costume, and moreover, how they choose to bring out the character's personality from the original film to a costume that can be seen and felt in person. So thanks again for watching, friends. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to see more of our videos just like this, and we'll see you on the flip-flop.